Hi guys, and welcome back to another video on tips and tricks in CADI. And in this video we will cover how to set up and use annotative text within my drawing. In my previous video I covered how to add annotative dimensions, so if you haven't watched it, please do so, as this video builds on that one and you might miss a few things in this one. You can find the link in the description below. Here I have a drawing and my model space annotation scale is set to 1:50. On my sheet 1, on the paper space, I have two viewports set up. The one is 1:50, the top one. If I click on it, you can see the scale. Press escape, and if I show you the bottom one, that's 1:20. Looking at the descriptive text here, the size is quite different. When I zoom out a bit and I drag the bottom viewport down, you can see not only that the heading is missing when comparing it to the 1:50 viewport, but the size is also not consistent. Why? Because we have two viewports with different scales, and the text does not know yet to adjust it automatically. In other words, that the annotation scales or intelligence has not been activated. So let's do it and show you how simple it is to set up. I'll just click the viewport node and bring the size back to what we want. Now we're going to switch back to the model space and let's have a look at the text. Firstly, always double check that the model space annotation scale is what we are expecting to work with. In this case, 1:50. And yes, it is what we want. So remember, it is not only the size that changes when we're working with annotation scales, but also the positioning too. And this is great, as you will see shortly. We will start with this text. And when I select it, I want to point out a few things. Firstly, the annotation is not activated on this text, and the height is also 168 millimeters, as our base units are set to millimeters. And the style being used is Arial 1. Because this drawing was created without annotation finishes, it could mean that we will have to spend some time editing in order to get this feature activated. When we start a drawing, we can have this set from the beginning, and this is how. I will right click, I will select text and modify text styles. The default style is standard and the height is 3 millimeters with a scale of 1:50. So let's go and create our own style, and I'll show you at the same time how to manipulate the styles. So under manage, I'll select manage, and I'm going to select new, and let's call it CADI text. The font I want is Arial, and this is important. So when I start the drawing and I've got the annotation switched on, it will automatically have it on, and I don't need to go later on and modify them. Click on OK and click on OK. Now when I go into text, the default is CADI text, and I can put in annotative text. And let's zoom closer, place it down, and there we go. When I select it, you'll see the annotative is switched on, and I've got already a few annotative scales. And this brings me to the next part of why are these annotative scales already added to my drawing. Well, let me show you. If I go to manage, annotative objects, default scale for new objects, I can go to mtext and I can add the scales that I want to add by default. Very easy, very simple. When I select now the text, you'll notice that the annotation is set to yes, and the current scale is 1:50, which I currently have. Now if I zoom closer, you'll notice multiple representations, and this is very important, as we have for each annotative scale a representation. So let's apply our annotative scales to our text. I'm going to select this text and I'm going to delete it. I'm going to select this text here, and I'm going to switch, go to the scales, and the 1:20 and the 1:50 is set up. That is correct. Let's select the one at the bottom here and make sure we've got 1:20, 1:50. I don't want 1:1, so I can just remove that. Remember, if I add unnecessary annotative scales to this, to the finishes, it will just clog up my drawing and make it slow. So what happens now if I select my model space annotation to 1:20? That is what it will look like. And this is where the positioning is very important. When I select the text, I can now move the 1 in 20 representation, although I see the 1 in 50 as well. I can move the 1 in 20 where I want to place it. Let's abort to unselect. I want to select this one, and let's move this one closer to here. So what happens now if I switch back to 1 in 50? Keep your eye on those two pieces of text that I've modified, and that's what it would look like. How will this affect my sheets? Let's go and have a look. I will click on sheet 1, and you'll notice that the size is now corresponding with each other. So the sizes are correct. I just want to modify this viewport at the bottom. You'll notice those two pieces of text now also exactly the same size, and this is what we want. So just to recap, if I go back onto my model space, when I click on text, I can add the annotative, switch it on, and I can add the scales on an existing drawing. On a new drawing, I will go modify the style. So I'll go to styles, and I will switch the annotative on. If you enjoyed watching this video, click the like and subscribe buttons, and do not forget to send me your comments and requests. My details as well as download links for the files used in creating this video can be found in the description below. Happy drawing!